So I have some frames here to put together. Now, I hate to say it, but I don't have any nails to show you guys how to nail it. But it should be very self-explanatory. We'll put some glue on. You'll put these together. And then what you'll do is you'll take your little nails. You'll nail 2 of them in here. You'll flip it over. Nail 2 of them in on the bottoms also. What I use is a air stapler. Now, so these are the quarter inch crown. I use an 1.5 inch, and I also use a 1 inch. Staples are a lot faster, and like I said, staples hold really good. It's really hard to pull a staple out. Now, however, you do have that cost. You're going to have an air compressor, and you're going to have your ear nailer. There are some battery-powered options you can get out there, and you won't need an air compressor. It's going to be a little more expensive for the tool. I suggest if you're going to spend the money, go ahead and get the air tools with the air compressor. The first frames I put together, I used the hammer and nails. It was all a kit, pounded every nail in those boxes and those frames. They don't seem to hold as well. I did glue everything, but it just didn't seem to hold really well with those nails. Staples go a lot further as far as holding your work together. Now people say it's all the glue, and that is true. There's so much of it is in that glue, but those staples do help. And with the staple gun, you can easily shoot a staple here at the side, and that helps hold your frames together. An air stapler is not needed, but it really makes this job a lot easier. Especially, I mean, if you think about it, if you're going to be putting together 5 boxes on 10 frames, that's 50 frames you'll be putting together. That's pretty time consuming, but it's also more money. So it's up to you what you want to do. I would suggest air compressor and a staple gun, especially if you're going to buy one to run a palm nailer or to run. There goes the air compressor. Let's go ahead and put some frames together. So the best way to put this together is to get things set out. Get your bottom bars to one side and get all your top bars set up. Just like this here. On our end bars, we're going to make sure they're all nice and flush. You can hold a pretty big stack of these. You can do 10 at a time. But then you get your glue. And this is the brush, works real good for this. Just brush that glue right in there. Make sure you get those corners really well. You can get that glue down in there very good. Okay, now we got the glue, we just flip it over and we get this other side. Brush makes it way easier to get those all glued up. Okay, now we take them and we slide them all on here. Take our bottom bar and put them all on. Here we go, just about done. We are going to need our square. A little square like this works great. You just set them in here. Let's move these out of the way so you can see here. So you set that in the bottom, run it up to that edge, and you just hold everything tight right there. If you're going to do it with a hammer and nail, you get your nail, get it started, and then try to hold it as you pound that nail in. We're going to use a stapler. We're going to run the 1.5 inch staples in. We're going to hold this all together. We're going to make sure our fingers are out of the way because these staples hurt when they pierce your finger. And I know how it feels. There's one there. And it should be pretty straight now. But we'll grab this side here, hold it together. There we go. We've got our staples on the bottom. We don't got much movement now. So now we're not going to worry about checking square right now. We're going to run them at an angle. So I like to catch this side on there, catch it on the other side, and do the same thing here. So we do that. You'll always have a few that poke through. You're going to have a pair of dikes to cut those off. Just pull them up, get them out of the way. Then we go to our next frame here. Same thing, put your square in there, hold it all together, make sure your fingers are out of the way. Check for squareness right now. See, we're real good. That's how you put those together. So now I take these 1 inch staples and I come here on the bottom. We try to shoot them in where they don't pop up this top part here. Alright, so I want to show you two things here. I have a little bit, when this staple went in, it curved out the side here. Got it protruding just a little bit. If you can grab them a little bit with your dikes, and pull them up a little bit, and cut them off. You really want to pound these ones down the side, or else they will catch. When you put your frames together inside your hive, they will catch together. When you try to pull that up, it'll be tearing on that other one, you'll be fighting it to get it out. This staple must have hit one of the other staples in there and came up the top. Cut that off. Just kind of make sure it's bent over a little bit. Those are not as critical. This one here, I have it protruding a little bit. Cut it off. If you can shoot them at the right angle, they won't pop up, or less likely to pop up. But you just got to make sure you pound them down. They'll snag on you, tear your clothes. Make sure they're pounded down. So now we got some frames done. I have some of this old foundation that came with those when I bought that equipment. So this stuff needs to be re-waxed. It feels like there is somewhat of a coating on there, but it needs to be blowed off. You need to blow it off with the air compressor and put another coat of wax on. But like I said, you want to get the ones with the plastic foundation. Those frames have a groove in the bottom and the top. This plastic foundation fits right in that. So you want to make sure when you buy your frames that you get the one So you want to make sure when you get the frames that they have that top groove and that bottom groove, so that way you can hold that foundation in there. One thing you can see here is when I push that foundation up, you can see it's pretty square. If you're out of square, you will see that it's not correct. And you might even have a hard time getting your foundation in there if you're not square. So use a square to get them together, and it'll make your job a little easier. Let's go ahead and put this foundation in. Now, let's see a quicker way of putting these together. What I have here is a frame jig. This allows you to quickly put your frames together. Holds them all in place while you staple them. So let's give it a go. So we got 10 end frames here. We'll make sure we get them squared up. And then we'll put some glue in there. All you need to do is hold 10 of them at a time. Don't try to overdo it, because you ain't going to be able to hold 20 at a time. Just hold the 10. Then you take them and you slide them right here. These end bars are drilled for using wire and wax foundation. We are not going to use it that way. So get the next set of end bars straight, clean them out. A lot easier with the brush. Just get yourself a brush and just make your life a little bit easier. These on this side. Put these up. And now that holds it. Now that holds it snug. And get your top bars. Top bars on. See, these are made, they're cut here. You can break these off, and I believe it's all when you're using that wax foundation. But since we're not going to use it that way. One short. Flip it over, push it down. Put all the bottom bars in. Now these bottom bars are not the same as the other ones I just did. Oh man, not wanting to go in very well. They're not the same. There we go. How to trim these down so they fit. Obviously didn't go with these frames, but we'll make them work. There we go. Made them fit. Now we get them stapled. Put them around. Now we do the same thing here. Now once you get them all stapled, put those down, turn it over, dump them all out. Get your boards, pull them out. And then now, we can run those staples in on the side. We'll turn them this way and shoot those staples in here. We'll swap them out to the 1 inch. And we'll bring them to the edge. Flip them around and get the other side.